Hello, everybody. I'm grateful to be able to chit-chat with you guys today. I was feeling all the love and all the energy, flying around. It's very exciting. And it got me in a vibration of how all the times that beings or situations have just solve themselves miraculously in my experience, and if I would share a story. A couple times in my travels in life, perfect strangers have been nicer to me and more giving to me than people I've known for years. It's funny how that works. I always strive to be that. Loving to all, and help if I can, if I'm meant to. I'm not sure which story to tell, there's so many. By the way, I'm grateful every day to all the beings, you guys, so grateful to you guys. I mean, just, I wake up in the morning with the Nias Family song playing in my head. I always have a radio on in there, and lately my first thing in the morning song has been that. So I'd like to thank Jeremy for making such a beautiful song for us. It's just really special, and it's on my head music. So thank you. So that's just one right now example, but there's so many examples of just people who are just total strangers, seemingly. Just doing such beautiful things and not even knowing how much they touch somebody. Okay, when I was younger, I traveled a lot, and I never had a lot of money. But back then, gas didn't cost near as much. And so I could go on a 500-mile trip and have $20 in my pocket. This was pretty typical of me. Well, this one particular time, I'm leaving Mobile, Alabama, and I'm driving to Houston. And I have $20 and 2 small children. And everything we own is shoved in a little Mitsubishi Galant. Great car, by the way. We were friends, the car and I. Anyways, I was getting ready to go through Baton Rouge. Now there's a place where you get off, I think it's 12, and then you kind of go into Baton Rouge, back onto 10. It's been a while since I took the trip. And it just kind of opens up. And it opened up really big, and I drove, my dad was a race car driver. Anyways, so I pull out and I just start passing everybody. And a police officer pulls me over, a state trooper, a young guy. And I was just, I was so annoyed. So I pull over, and I was so rude to the cop. And the cop was trying very hard to be nice to me. And I don't know how, you guys, but somehow he gives me a warning ticket. And I say, great, thank you. And I get going on the road again now. The traffic is starting to really, really emerge as I'm getting into Baton Rouge. And no sooner as I got going up to about, back then it would have been 55, 60 miles an hour, I had a blowout on my back right tire. And I mean, it just disintegrated. The tire just disintegrated. And there's traffic everywhere, and I'm like in the center of maybe like 4 or 5 lanes, a lot of lanes. So I'm trying to get over and pull it off the interstate with this blown out tire, and just shaking my head, knowing it was because I was so rude to the cop. And I somehow get over it, and it was right by off-ramp. So I was right past the off-ramp, and I pulled over, and I just got out, and I looked at the tire, and of course, everything me and the 2 kids had was in the car, so it was just slammed. The trunk was slammed full of clothing and things like that. The spare tire, of course, is completely underneath all my stuff. And I stood there for a minute, and I thought, all right, fine. And I just kind of like breathed, and let's just unpack the truck and change the tire. It's not the first time I've had to change a tire. It's no big deal. So I start getting stuff out. Well, about now, and it's daylight, like in afternoon, you know, right around lunchtime. An old pickup truck pulls up behind my car, and this really nice man gets out, and he asked me, do I need some help? And I was just, of course, so grateful and thankful, and he was so nice, and his energy was just beautiful. And he unpacked, he insisted that he do it, and he unpacked the trunk of my car, and he got my my little donut tire out, and he put it on, and he insisted that I follow him to a used tire store right down the street near where we were, and that he would get me a really cheap tire. Like I said, I had $20 going across, 500 miles. And he just was going, oh, and it was his birthday. He told me it was his birthday. And he said he just didn't want me to have any bad feelings about Baton Rouge. And he liked to go around and help people and do things like that on his birthday. I mean, just the kindest, nicest, sweetest man. And he just had an old beat-up truck, and I just had an old beat-up Mitsubishi, We were just two beings coming together, in the moment. Well, so he gets my donut tire on. He repacks the trunk of the car, and then we drive, 4 miles, not even far, to this tire store, and he just goes in, and he tells me to wait, and they didn't have anything that would work for my car. And then he felt bad for whatever reason. I certainly wasn't making him feel bad. I was already elated that he got the donut on and helped me pack and unpack and all that. I can still picture him. I don't recall his name, but names don't matter. I would have been like 24 years old when all this happened. Anyways, he wanted me to follow him to Pep Boys, where, long story short, he unpacked my trunk again. He got out a spare tire. He took, or the original tire, excuse me. He took the original tire into Pep Boys. He had them put on a new tire, a brand new tire, on my rim. And then he came out, and he took off the donut, and he put it back in the trunk, and he put on the new tire. And he repacked my trunk again. And I had called my ex-husband, where I was actually on my way to see him in Houston, and let him know what had happened. And he was going to send me a little bit of money to cover whatever, but I had to go to like a Western Union, but I hadn't gotten there yet. Okay. So he did all that, and of course I'm telling him, how I want to pay him back and how grateful I am and all that, and he just kept insisting it was just his birthday, And then I told him that I was going to get some money, and I wanted him to come with me so I could pay him for the tire. So he said he would come with me, and he waited with me and the children, because I had to wait a little while, because Western Union was really slow then. And I got the money after a couple hours, and he wouldn't let me give him any of it. And I really, really tried. And then I got his name, and I remember writing it down in an old checkbook. I mean, this is so long ago. And he just said he was happy to do it. I just don't know what I would have done if it wasn't for such a beautiful encounter. And it seems like it was a quote-unquote bad thing that happened. But it's one of my more beautiful stories. And one of my more beautiful feelings when I think about life. There's a few. But I'll just leave you with the beautiful man that stayed with me and my children until we were safely on the road again out of Baton Rouge. And I'm sending all my love out to all the beings, all the travelers. I'm with you, and I am grateful. And you got this. So thank you to all you guys in our family. I mean, everyone, as far as I'm concerned, is part of my family, but to have you guys here with me to talk to is just a joy. I try to talk to my husband, and he just glazes over, and it's okay that he glazes over, but it's nice. It's nice like this. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you feel truly how much I love you all. I'll try to do another story soon. Namaste, namaste.